it in.
The junior high it's like this. You gotta make it real awkward.
That's exactly how
you have to have a certain amount of distance between the bodies
exactly.
in junior high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
35 years ago today, Elvis Presley passed away, the king of rock and roll. And as Mark Cohn says in his great song, Walking in Memphis, there's a pretty little thing waiting for the king down in the jungle room.
Huh? Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain.
And if they'd had enough sense to open a book and study history, they wouldn't be going out here and voting these Democrat tickets because the Klan was founded by Democrats.
Bitch, you think it's small. We need to be thinking big. You need to be thinking big, bitch. You need to be thinking big, bitch. Think big, bitch.
He was so cool.
He what?
He looked so cool.
Cool.
You know something? Since rocks and people are made of the same thing, stick with me. And the rocks are made up of the components our phones are. Shouldn't that make us have the ability to communicate through the air? Since everything is pretty much the same, just a different organization of molecules, shouldn't we have the ability to communicate the same? I know this calls for a rudimentary understanding, or is that the distortion they use to stop me from being able to exercise the ability? You know that feeling when you could tell someone's in the room? When you know the next word that they're gonna say, but you have no idea how? Or when you look up and know for sure you've been here, but you've never been here. I personally feel like these are communications or floating information. Maybe something is recording all these thoughts we have, actions we take, and movements we make. Plenty of people have subtly hinted about this phenomenon, but scientists dismiss it as pseudoscience or ramblings from the uneducated. But there are so many contradictions, I don't know where to begin. So I think we should look into the method of madness of Bluetooth, a telepathic connection.
They had all kinds of objectives. So Roger Smith was supervising Manson when he became exactly what, or he was able to do exactly what the MK Ultra program had been trying to create and do for, at that point, about 15, 17 years. When it was all exposed in the 70s, and there were these hearings, first the Rockefeller Commission hearings and the church hearings, and then finally Senators Ted Kennedy and Daniel Inouye held hearings. The CIA admitted that they had done this, but no one would say exactly what they did. All the records had been destroyed.
Bluetooth works like a quiet conversation between two friends in a crowded cafe. Even in a room full of chatter, they take turns speaking softly on private wavelengths, so they understand each other perfectly. Before they start talking, they introduce themselves, confirming that they are who they say they are, then agree on a secret code so no one else can eavesdrop. Once the trust is built, they share stories, songs, or instructions back and forth without anyone noticing. They don't need wires or shouting, just a shared understanding and a little bit of signal magic to keep their bond strong, even from across the room. And if one friend steps too far away, or the cafe gets too noisy with interference, their connection might fade or pause, but they can always reconnect, picking up right where they left off, thanks to Bluetooth's clever way of remembering old pals and adapting to the ever-changing environment around them.
So light can display characteristics of both particles and waves, known as wave-particle duality. It appears that light decides to behave as a wave when it's not being watched, and acts like a particle when it is being measured. The mere act of observing which slit it went through changed the behavior of the photons, almost as if they were aware they were being watched.
You are now tuned in to Method Madness.
You see, there's a lot of people that make this claim. There's groups of unconventional scientists that have been emerging, boldly claiming that telekinesis, the ability to move objects with the mind, is not just a fantasy, but an undiscovered frontier of physics. They argue that the human brain, A complex network of electronics and magnetic activity might be capable of interacting with the physical world on a quantum level. These researchers conduct experiments in controlled environments, measuring subtle shifts in energy fields and objective movements, hoping to prove that through itself has measurable force. Critics dismiss their work as pseudoscience, but yet the scientists insist that today's impossibilities often become tomorrow's discoveries. To them, telekinesis isn't magic. It's a mystery, waiting for the right equation.
We put out a powerful signal. So
I think it indicates that we all have this ability, and we just have to learn what the psychic signal looks like. We sort of created an industry.
Yeah.
At SRI, we trained 6 remote viewers that we had carefully chosen from the Fort Meade group.
Who was that?
Hal Puthoff and I chose 6 people, one of whom was Joe McMoneagle,
Right.
and there are a number of others who have surfaced to greater or lesser degrees. Joe has written books about his experiences, so I'm comfortable talking about
Right.
Joe. Those 6 then went back to Fort Meade and told showed dozens of people how to do remote viewing.
People like Ed Danes, David Morehouse, who wrote a book, Courtney Brown. And so what can we do with this? And what
it proves is that even an interviewer on camera can expand his awareness to be in contact with something besides his physical body.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows that there's more to us than just being a physical body. We inhabit physical bodies, no doubt, and it's wise to take care of them, but there is more to us and more to our awareness and more experiences available to us than you would think if you just think that you're made of meat and potatoes. And that kind of expanded awareness can lead you to learn to quiet your mind, reside in the loving space that the mystics have taught about for thousands of years, and that space is available without having to believe anything silly. It's a gift that's available to expanded awareness.
Uh-huh. And that expanded awareness is what other people call consciousness.
That's right.
You are now tuned in to Method Madness.
Yeah, I know. Telekinesis hasn't been scientifically proved, despite decades of experiments and public fascination. Some researchers in parapsychology have claimed to observe small, unexplained effects. These results have never been reliable. Replication just hasn't happened. Most of these demonstrations of telekinesis can be explained by psychological factors, subtle physical influences like air currents or static electricity, or even deliberate trickery. Modern physics also offers no mechanism by which the human mind could exert force on a distant object without physical interaction. As a result, the scientific community continues to regard telekinesis as a phenomenon of imagination and belief, not a measurable reality.
You are now tuned in to Method Madness.
But the thing is, we actually don't know. Telekinesis might be real, but we're currently lacking the tools to understand it, to prove it in one way or the other. Human knowledge of the mind and universe is still limited. After all, not long ago, electricity, magnetism, and quantum entanglement were just mysteries. There's still hella questions we need answered. It's possible that the brain produces forms of energy or interactions with matter in which ways science hasn't yet learned how to detect. Many unexplained experiences throughout history hint that the conscious could have untapped influence over the physical world. Until the technology and scientific models evolve further, telekinesis remains a question suspended between skepticism and possibility. A reminder that the absence of evidence is not always evidence of absence.
You are now tuned in to Method Madness.
Okay. Maybe no one can bend a spoon with their mind, but the heart has its own kind of gravity that pulls the impossible a little closer. Science measures what can be seen, but the heart listens to the space between the notes where wonder hums quietly. We may never lift a stone with a thought alone, yet belief itself can move mountains in other ways. The heart is its own invisible force, reaching across the unseen, reminding us that not all power wears the shape of proof.